today, talking about Kirby Smart's comments in Atlanta regarding the future of the Georgia-Florida game here in Jacksonville. We'll replay the Lenny Curry interview coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. Ari Meirov. Who's Ari Meirov? Well, he covers the National Football League. If you're on Twitter, you might follow something called My Sports Update. You probably do. He's got almost 600,000 followers. That Twitter handle turned into a job for Ari Meirov at Pro Football Focus. He does a terrific job covering the National Football League, and he's very high on the Jacksonville Jaguars and Doug Peterson. So we will talk to Ari Meirov of PFF and My Sports Update on Twitter. That coming up in about 40 minutes or so. And then later on in the 7 o'clock hour, the brand new play-by-play voice of the Florida State Seminoles, Jeff Culhane, who replaces Gene Deckerhoff in the broadcast booth in Tallahassee. I had a first opportunity to talk to Jeff earlier, and he is a good dude. Enjoyed the conversation, and we will play that for you coming up later on tonight at about 7:30 or so here on Hacker After Dark. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do give you a big deal of the night. That's how we kick it off on a nightly basis. And Dylan Denmark, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
SEC Media Days in the books in Atlanta, Georgia. A lot of stories came out of SEC Media Days. Today you had Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M. You had Tennessee, and you had Auburn all meet the media. A couple thoughts about those three. With Auburn, Brian Harsin, the head coach there, I'll give kudos to. He handled himself as well as any coach there, quite frankly. Remember, there was all the talk that Brian Harsin was going to be one and done at Auburn. There was some off-the-field rumors surrounding him, some inquiries surrounding him. To my knowledge, none of it was verified, just rumors. And Brian Harsin remains at Auburn. And today was Brian Harsin's opportunity to kind of strike back at everybody that thought he would be one and done. Now, when you're the head coach at Auburn, you're not going to be there very long if you go 6-7, which is what Brian Harsin did last year. So I still think he's on the hot seat, but responding to everything that happened with all the off-the-field rumors about him that were not verified, I thought he had handled himself very well today. Josh Heupel, look, I'm starting to buy the Tennessee hype a little bit. I like Hooker, the tight end, or the quarterback there. Cedric Tillman, the wide receiver. I think Tennessee is going to be pretty good this year. I think everybody is running second place, a distant second, to the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm not breaking any news there, but I would have Tennessee right now second in the East. I don't like Florida going to Knoxville as it stands right now. I got friends in Knoxville. They smell blood in the water. That game is probably going to be at night. Neyland Stadium, a down Florida team. I don't think that's a good recipe for the Gators going to Knoxville this year. We'll see how good Kentucky is. We'll see how good South Carolina is with Spencer Rattler. But yeah, right now I would have Georgia 1, Tennessee 2 in the SEC East. So I guess I'm starting to drink the orange Kool-Aid there with the Volunteers. And then Texas A&M. Jimbo Fisher is something else, man. I like the guy. And I even liked him when he was the head coach at Florida State. There's just something about him that I like. Maybe it's the way he conducts himself with the media. You know, the guy could be an auctioneer very easily. The guy talks 1,000 miles an hour. It's hilarious to see him hold court today like he was doing. But Jimbo Fisher, look, I think Texas A&M is going to be good, but I think that's relative because Alabama is going to be really good. You know, I was talking to some people today about SEC Media Days, and when you watched SEC Network over the last week, you saw on the left side of their screen percentage points to win the SEC. It was the Football Power Index from ESPN.com. And Alabama had a 49% chance to win the SEC. Georgia had a 47% chance to win the SEC. Well, let me do my Wolfson math on that. That's 96% for two teams. What about the other 12? In third place was Kentucky at a .9. The discrepancy in this conference coming into 2022 between Alabama, Georgia, and literally everybody else is maybe unlike something we've seen in quite some time. Look, there's always the haves and the have-nots in the Southeastern Conference, but usually you could make a compelling argument for maybe 4 or 5 teams that could win the conference. I don't think you have that this year. I think there will be stunned shock. People will be absolutely flabbergasted if it's not Georgia and Alabama the first Saturday in December in Atlanta for the SEC championship. Something went horribly wrong for either the Dogs or the Crimson Tide if they don't win their respective divisions. And that's not to say there's not other good teams. In the SEC West, I think Arkansas is going to be a good team. I think A&M is going to be a good team. I actually think Mississippi State is going to be a good team. LSU will see. Auburn will see. Ole Miss will see. You're going to have a lot of teams making bowl games out of the SEC West. But that just goes to show you how dominant Alabama is. You know, they return 15 starters off of a team that beat Georgia last year. You remember that? They did beat Georgia once in the SEC championship game. Obviously lost to them when it mattered for the national title. But 15 returning starters, including 9 on defense. That Alabama team is going to be nasty. With Will Anderson at defensive end, of course, Bryce Young, the Heisman winner, returning at quarterback. Can we have a guy win back-to-back Heismans? Hasn't happened since Archie Griffin, right? You're going back 40 years, basically? Heck, we're almost getting to the 50-year point of Archie Griffin. Can Bryce Young do it? We'll see. In the SEC East, I don't know if it's as lopsided as it is in the West. I think Georgia's going to be very good, although I do think they're going to take a step back. It's impossible not to take a step back when you get 15 guys drafted and you lose other guys to transfer, you lose other guys to graduation. But they're still clearly head and shoulders better than anybody else in the East. They get Tennessee at home. That would have been the one, right? If Georgia would have had to go to Knoxville, you wonder. And again, look, things can change. Injuries can change. But right now on the surface, you cannot give me a compelling argument for any team in the East to beat Georgia this year. Not one. Tennessee's still probably a year or two away. Kentucky is Kentucky. Do you think Kentucky's going to beat Georgia? I don't. Florida, I got real concerns on the line of scrimmage. Like I was telling Frangie in the 2-minute drill there, I've heard from too many people, former players in the media that cover the SEC, and SEC analysts, insiders. I've heard from simply too many people that talk about Florida having a real problem on the defensive line. And in the SEC, that is a bad, bad spot to have a problem on the defensive line. We saw it firsthand last year in the LSU game. When that LSU back, would he get 280-plus rushing yards? Set an LSU record for rushing yards in a game. I got a feeling Florida, if they're not careful, they're going to have more records set on them this year. And I think Anthony Richardson's going to be a good player. I'm not saying Florida's going to be 4-8, 5-7, but look at that schedule. Find me 8 wins on that schedule. You're going to beat Eastern Washington. You're going to beat Vanderbilt. You're going to beat South Florida. All right, that's 3. I'll give you those. You're probably going to beat Missouri, although you should have beat them last year. Are you going to beat Florida State and Doak Campbell on a Friday night? You should. I don't know if you are. And then you get to the hard stuff. Then you get to Utah and Kentucky and Tennessee and Georgia and LSU and South Carolina and Texas A&M. I don't know if I see 8 wins on that schedule. I'm more maybe in the 6-6, 7-5 range. 8-4, I'll be pleasantly surprised. 9-3, Billy Napier might be coach of the year in the Southeastern Conference. Not going to be his fault. It's what he inherited. But as we've talked all week, starting 22 versus starting 22, I think Florida can compete. If you're just talking about 22 guys, 11 on offense, 11 on defense, I think Florida has that to compete with a lot of teams in the league. My concern is players 23 through about 50. When you start getting injuries taking their toll, injuries mounting up, whatever happens off the field, transgressions, and you got to start digging into your depth a little bit, that's where I think Florida is clearly lacking against some of their counterparts, particularly the likes of Georgia, Texas A&M, maybe an LSU, teams like that. Big news in the SEC today. Kirby Smart, a brand new 10-year contract that'll pay him in excess of over $100 million. It's good to win a national championship. It's good to break a 42-year drought for a university. Kirby Smart cashing in today with a brand new 10-year deal. Of course, he made all kinds of news yesterday with his thoughts about moving the Georgia-Florida game out of Jacksonville. I've had a night to sleep on that. I'm as bothered by it now as I was last night. Again, what Kirby's saying is true. Georgia does lose a recruiting weekend every other year. He's not conjuring that out of thin air. That is accurate. And under the NCAA rules, neutral site games, you cannot bring in recruits for official visits. So Kirby's not lying. He is accurate. You're losing one weekend every 104 weekends. One weekend every 104 weekends. It's not a weekend a year. It's a weekend every other year. You're also looking at a team in Georgia that has consistently finished in the top 10, and as of late, the top 5 with recruiting under Kirby Smart. So the excuse that it hurts you in recruiting is nonsense.
Go Dogs.
Yeah, it's true. What he's saying is true. They do lose a recruiting weekend. It's nonsense. And it makes you wonder, and we're going to replay the Lenny Curry interview, the mayor of Jacksonville, who was on with Primetime earlier. We'll replay that in the 7 o'clock hour. Is this a negotiation tactic, or what is it? Because it's an odd excuse. And it was so funny today watching some Georgia media. A couple of guys in particular. But it was so funny today watching some Georgia media. You want to talk about drinking the Kool-Aid, bowing down at the altar of Kirby. You got Georgia media asking Josh Heupel and asking Brian Harsin of Auburn about the benefit of recruiting weekends and what teams would lose by not having recruiting weekends. Brian Harsin has been the head coach at Auburn for 2 years. Actually, no. He's been the head coach for 1 year. This is his second SEC Media Day. And you had a guy in the Georgia media today ask Brian Harsin about Pat Dye moving the Alabama-Auburn game from a neutral site because the Iron Bowl used to be a neutral site. What the heck does Brian Harsin know about that? But I'm sure they're writing up stories to talk about how valuable recruiting weekends are. They are. I'm not going to dispute that. But losing one every 104 weekends to have a scenario like you do in Jacksonville with one of the most unique environments in college football, that's nonsense, particularly when you're finishing in the top 5 of recruiting every single year. 641-1010 is the phone number, Jacksonville. If you want to get involved on the phone line or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, you are more than welcome to do so. Again, Ari Mirov of My Sports Update and PFF, he's coming up inside of a half an hour. The new play-by-play voice at Florida State, Jeff Colhane, coming up at the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour. We're in for Rick Ballou. Speaking of Rick Ballou, Ballou will join us. He's on his way back from the ACC kickoff in Charlotte. What was the news up there? He talked with Mike Norvell. He talked with Mario Cristobal. What is going on in the Atlantic Coast Conference? We'll talk to Rick Ballou next. Hacker After Dark on a Thursday. We're glad you're with us, Jacksonville.
Because the expressway doesn't mean the fast way.
Fasten your seatbelt.
The Frangie Show.
Don't look like no expressway to me.
Afternoons on 1010XL.
Ballou here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Have you ever regretted buying a car? Is the idea of shopping at a dealership scary? We want you to know that you don't have to feel that way, and I promise that Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet will provide the wow experience and peace of mind you deserve. We believe that taking care of our team, our customers, and our community is more important than anything. So give us the chance to earn your business and join our 50,000 plus and counting wowed customers. You won't regret it. See you at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow ya.
Wholesale prices, premium service. Tire Outlet.
Mike Dempsey here. This summer, go further with Tire Outlet. Visit them online or at any of their 13 locations in Northeast Florida to shop their top flagship brands like Kumo and Yokohama. I literally just purchased my new set of tires last month. Let Tire Outlet find the right fit for you. Visit TireOutlet.com to find your store today.
Wholesale prices, premium service. Tire Outlet.
David Garrard here. Once again, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has gotten me back to my active lifestyle by easing my knee pain with PRP treatment. PRP is a platelet-rich plasma concentrate that promotes tissue repair and healing and can even help alleviate pain caused from arthritis. Ask your doctor at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist if PRP may be right for you too.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Upgrade your grilling game to amazing meals with a new high-quality grill from Caladad Grills. Why Caladad? It means quality. Expert grills that stand apart from the crowd, like Traeger, Kamado Joe, and Napoleon. In stock today and built to last. Why Caladad? It's a local family business, so they'll save you money and time with free delivery. Stop by Caladad Grills at the end of Cumberland Park Drive, just off County Road 210. Caladad, they make it easy for you to grill like a pro.
Pickett here for Roof It Right. You know the drill. Hey, that's our show. Don't let anyone touch your roof until you got a quote from my friends at Roof It Right. Storm season right around the corner. Get prepared now with an inspection from Jacksonville's Master Elite Roofer, and sleep easy knowing your home is protected by the area's best materials and best warranties. There's a lot of roofers here in town. Roof It Right is the company I trust. Schedule your estimates today at roofitRightFL.com. That's roofitRightFL.com, and see why your friends and neighbors say, Roof It Right, so you can sleep at night.
Don't miss the Jacksonville Sharks Military Appreciation Night, presented by Navy Federal, Saturday, July 23rd at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. The first 1,000 fans in attendance will receive a free custom-made Sharks Military Night rally towel. All active duty, retired, and veterans will receive a buy one, get one free ticket offer as we honor our nation's heroes. Tickets start at $12. Call 904-621-0700.
With your home value up again, you're sitting on a pile of money. Don't just let it sit there. Use it. Hey, it's Prosser here from my friends at Loan Pronto. Introducing Loan Pronto's Equity Line of Credit program. You don't have to refinance, but you can access up to 97% of your home's value. Get cash now. Pay off all your credit cards or do that home improvement project. Get your down payment for a new home or stash away for a safety net. You can get $50,000, even $100,000 or more out of your home, and the payments are crazy low. Think what you can do with $100,000 right now. Loan Pronto makes unlocking your equity easy, and they could probably even waive the appraisal. Don't just let all that home equity pile up. Turn your house into an ATM machine and get that cash you need. Call Loan Pronto now, 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Hey folks, Hicken here for Zero Res. Now that summer's in full swing, so's the front door of our house. Kids constantly coming in and out, bringing in sand from the beach, soil from the yard, all kinds of food. Pretty tough on the carpet, the rugs, the tile, the grout. Good thing July is National Carpet Cleaning Month. To celebrate, Zero Res offering 25% on all carpet cleaning in your home. What a great time to get your carpets cleaned by the very best. Zero Res, man. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res, the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
When it comes to commercial fence services, Superior Fence and Rail has you covered. If your business needs automatic gates or security fence and railings, trust Superior with your next commercial project. Superior's team delivers great communication, high-quality products, and exceptional customer service. Just read any of their 2,300-plus reviews.
When you're on the fence about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Catch the Jacksonville Jaguars every day
Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
with Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony talking teal every weekday from 10 to noon
Jaguars Today
on 1010XL. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. This is Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
In for Rick Ballou tonight. Ballou's going to join us in about 30 seconds. Want to remind you, as always, Hacker After Dark streaming for your viewing pleasure on the 1010XL YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, type in 1010XL. That's where you'll get all the interviews that have been done at SEC Media Days and the ACC Kickoff. And Hacker After Dark also streams there every night. Also on my own personal Twitter, at Ryan Green 1010XL. That's at Ryan Green 1010XL. Look, we've talked a lot about Florida, Georgia, everything that happened in Atlanta. Rick Ballou was incredibly busy in Charlotte, North Carolina, talking to Mike Norvell, Mario Cristobal, numerous other parties in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Let's catch up with Rick Ballou right now.
Now,
Hello.
another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the accident attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Rick, I think every time I refresh Twitter, I saw you sitting down with somebody else in the Atlantic Coast Conference, man. You did a ton of interviews. What was the scene like there in Charlotte?
You know, I think yesterday was more of just the political side of everything, trying to figure out what the future of this conference is. And, you know, unfortunately, the commissioner, Jim Phillips, really cleared up nothing. I thought it was a disappointing performance on his hand. You know, for those who forget, Greg Sankey and the SEC presented what I think is a perfect blueprint for a 12-team college football playoff in the expansion there. 6 conference winners, 6 at large, and then, of course, Jim Phillips, who took the job a year ago in June, signed off on that alliance with the Big Ten and the Pac-12. The Big Ten went late at night. He took USC and UCLA. So now that whole 12-team college football playoff will never be the same, because many believe that there's only 2 conferences in college football as far as the future. And I found it humiliating that yesterday Jim Phillips was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely, we want Notre Dame," and "Oh yeah, absolutely, we're in favor of a college football expansion," after he really dropped the ball with the alliance. So, you know, there was so much of that. NIL, the new 3-5-5 model that goes into effect in 2023, the transfer portal today. And you know, I kind of got away from it when I talked to Mario Cristobal and obviously Dabo Sweeney and Mike Norvell and the players. I found myself, for the most part, asking football-only questions. The sidebar stories have really dominated everything in Charlotte. I thought today we got away from that a little bit, and I'll tell you why, Hack. Today, 7 coaches were in. 4 of them are brand new. I mean, 4 of the 7 coaches in the Coastal Division are new. And if you really track this division, you had a situation where for 7 consecutive years, a different team won it, and you've had now in the last 9 years, okay, one team has done it, or 2 teams has done it twice, and then the other 5 did it once. So there's been just incredible amounts of parity on the Coastal side.
Rick Ballou here with us. You usually get him at this time slot. He's on his way back from the ACC kickoff there in Charlotte, North Carolina. All right, Rick, let's focus on a couple of the teams. A lot of preseason love coming in on the Miami Hurricanes. I know you talked with Tyler Van Dyke, the quarterback. You also talked with Mario Cristobal. What was the vibe in Charlotte about Miami heading into the year?
Well, I voted them. I think they're going to come out, and, I was dead wrong a year ago where I voted North Carolina, and, they were a huge disappointment. And, last year we sat there, and it was Kenny Pickett, it was Sam Howell, it was De'Aaron King, and it felt like there was some star power at quarterback in that conference. Look at the list this year. You can honestly make a case that the ACC and their quarterback play is the deepest of any conference in all of college football. So you enter Tyler Van Dyke. He was summoned a year ago after the injury. He immediately got it. Miami did a real good job passing the football downfield. And, you look at Will Mallory, kid right out of Jacksonville. I didn't know this until I caught up with Mario Cristobal. We were actually lucky enough to catch up with Cristobal last night, even though the Coastal spoke today. We were able to set that up yesterday, so that was kind of cool. But, Mario Cristobal's like, listen, Jeremy Shockey, Kellen Winslow Jr., all the great tight ends that have ever played at the U. Mallory's got a chance to become the all-time leading receiver as a tight end at Miami. It blew me away. Wasn't aware of that. And I caught up with Mallory a little bit earlier today as well and had an opportunity to interview him. Very likable guy. But you can just feel that at Miami, something's going on. Defensively, all right, they brought in 6 transfer portal kids who could start on that side of the football this year. So those are proven college football veterans who are going to be a part of that defense. Another thing I didn't realize until Mario Cristobal told me this last night, Miami led all of college football last year in missed tackles. I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that. So Cristobal comes in now. Man, he commands the room. He's a guy that, played there late 80s through 92. He played in 3 national championship games. We talked about the old rivalry between Florida State and Miami. I was going to school during that time period. It was absolutely out of control. And he's trying to bring that back now to Miami. Josh Gaddis, who had a cup of coffee right here in Jacksonville, a former Jaguar pick, I want to say 2007 was when he was selected. You look at his resume, Hacker, all right? Guy learned at Penn State. Guy went and coached under Nick Saban with Lane Kiffin at Alabama. He's been under Jim Harbaugh at Michigan. Now it's a totally different style of offense, more up-tempo that he is going to run this year with Van Pelt at the U. They feel good about both their backs. Miami's scary right now. I don't think they're there, yet as far as like a true national contender, but I do think they're the team to beat this year in the Coastal.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of preseason love. Tyler Van Dyke on all these 2023 mock drafts. You see him in the top 20, the top 15. So a lot of love coming in for Van Dyke as well. Rick, got to ask you about Mike Norvell. I know you had a conversation with him yesterday. A big year for Florida State, certainly. But I look at that schedule, and good grief. After the Duquesne game, Rick, they play 6 games. They could legitimately lose all 6. I don't think they will, but it is a tough schedule for Florida State this year.
And if that's the case, he's gone. He's got to win. I saw a different Mike Norvell yesterday than I did in the previous couple of seasons when I got a chance to meet him. My feeling is that he believes this is the best team that he's had. He's got his players in now. You know this. He hasn't done a good job. Not his fault, particularly in year one because of COVID. The flip side is he's done a nice job in the transfer portal. I mean, the best players on the team last year for Florida State were transfer portal players. I think the best player on the team this year, safety Jamie Robinson, who I also caught up with yesterday. He's a transfer portal kid, but we're actually barreling through Spencer Rattler country right now in Columbia, South Carolina, and Jamie Robinson had a real nice career here. So something feels different coming out of Tallahassee. I wish I could put my finger on it. I can't, but people are talking that things are beginning to change. I still think the expectations aren't crazy. I mean, most people that I had conversations with, 7-5. Is 7-5 good enough? For me, it's not even close. But, this is a team that won a couple of games 2 years ago. This is a team that was 5-7 last year, lost their first 4 games of the year, including against Jacksonville State. One positive for Mike Norvell and FSU is noticeable weight gain by Jordan Travis. 15 pounds of added muscle. That was easy to locate and see just by, observing him and having a chance to talk with him. That's the biggest question. He's going to get hurt. We know that. He gets hurt every year. It's just a matter of when does he get hurt? Does he go down against freaking Duquesne on opening day, or can he go down, in week 10, week 11? Because Florida State doesn't have any depth at quarterback. Who knows what's going to happen? And, I spent a lot of my time with Jordan Travis and with Mike Norvell trying to figure out how do you coach getting down? You know what I mean? Jordan Travis has got phenomenal wiggle, and he's so good when he makes people miss. But he also is willing to take on contact, and that is why he has gotten injured. Granted, the offensive line's been awful, and he's gotten hit there as well. But can you teach an NFL quarterback, a college football quarterback, to get down? Or do your instincts just take over once you're in the game? And, Norvell gave me a bunch of, I don't have to tell him when to leave the pocket. Well, I don't have to tell him when to get down. And so maybe I try to create a little bit of a story that, frankly, is not there. But to me, that's the biggest deal with FSU this season is trying to keep Jordan Travis healthy.
Rick Ballou here with us. You get him every night. Normally, in this time slot, he is making the trip back from Charlotte, North Carolina, and the ACC kickoff. Rick, we got about 90 seconds. 2 questions for you revolving around the ACC Atlantic. Number 1, is the NC State hype legit? And number 2, is Clemson going to rebound this year?
The hype is legit. Again, there's a lot of really good quarterbacks in this conference. I think a lot of people believe Devin Leary's the best of them all at NC State. I still think Clemson, they won 10 games a year ago, and everyone's saying it is a down year. They may have the best player in the conference, very special back. That defensive line can rival the great defensive line that saw those 4 kids go, 3 in the first round, 1 in the second round back in 2018. They have 4 possible All-American candidates on that defensive line. I think it's Clemson's team. I think they win the Atlantic Coast Conference. I got Clemson over NC State, and I think Clemson will knock off Miami in the Atlantic Coast Conference championship game. My apologies to all you Pittsburgh fans who knocked off Wake Forest last year in that game. I know it was a barn burner, but I think we're going Clemson-Miami this year.
Yeah, Clemson-Miami has a little more oomph to it than Wake and Pitt did. No question about that. Rick, you did a ton of interviews, man. Where can people go find those from your coverage at ACC Kickoff?
Well, yeah, Graham Marsh has uploaded things all over the place, all sorts of different devices. Wait, hold on a second. Graham, answer the question for Hacker about where you can find the interview.
Hello, Hack. How are you?
Hey, live radio. I love it. Marsh, where can people find the interviews that Ballou did?
YouTube is the place you want to go. You want to go to YouTube at 1010XL Video.
YouTube 1010XL Video. And kudos to you and to Rick. You guys talked to a ton of people up there at the ACC Kickoff. And again, if you want to find any of those videos, any of those interviews, head to the 1010XL YouTube channel. Gentlemen, safe travels. We'll see you guys back here in studio tomorrow night.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Graham Marsh, Rick Ballou on their way back from Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to shift gears. More college football talk coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. Speaking of Florida State, Jeff Colhane, the new play-by-play voice of the Florida State Seminoles, He will join me a little less than an hour from right now. Coming up next into the world of the NFL, on social media, you know him as at My Sports Update on Twitter. His name is Ari Miroff. He does a terrific job covering the National Football League. He has his own show now on YouTube. He now works for Pro Football Focus. And I'll tell you this, he's very high on Doug Peterson and the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. Jaguar fans, I think you'll like this. Ari Miroff next on Hacker After Dark.
Catch the biggest NASCAR races on 1010XL.
They're starting to close that gap a little bit.
This Sunday at Pocono Raceway, brought to you by Famous Automotive Tire and Quick Lube, treating every customer like they're famous on 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Buick GMC is proud to be the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville, committed to providing the best selection of Buicks and GMCs for you with a best price guarantee. Now, some dealers charge more than sticker, not Nimnick Buick GMC. And do you live in the Jacksonville Beach or Ponte Vedra area? Well, Nimnick Buick GMC now offers mobile oil changes in the local beach communities. That's Nimnick. That's what they do for you. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Maximize the beauty of your home with custom-made windows and patio doors from Renewal by Andersen. Right now, get 20% off custom replacement windows, patio doors, and installation. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. Visit rbafla.com for details. This offer expires July 31st and restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, the official window and door replacement company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CGC 1527613.
You want something great, you probably don't want to wait for it. Well, Xfinity has a new offer you won't want to wait to take advantage of. The Xfinity 3-for-1 bundle. You get unlimited internet and fast speed. There's no annual contract required and no equipment fees. And there's even a 2-year internet rate guarantee. You'll get unlimited internet, a free Flex 4K streaming box, and 1 line of unlimited mobile, all for just $75 a month. The Xfinity 3-for-1 bundle is built with you in mind. This is a limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with a stored bank account. New fast internet customers only. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity Internet. Don't wait. Visit Xfinity.com/3-for-1. Call 1-800-XFINITY or do what I did and hop into an Xfinity store today.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
When I was at lunch the other day at Woody's Barbecue, I asked for some of those fall-off-the-bone ribs. The waitress said she'd have that coming right up. And that's the way it is at Woody's. When you order fall-off-the-bone ribs, that's exactly what you'll get. High-flying Jacko here. When I want the low and slow cookingest, falling off the bone ribs, I immediately call Woody's and order them up quick.
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do. Let's eat.
Harrell and Harrell supports those who were at Camp Lejeune from 1953 to 1987. Millions who were on base were exposed to contaminated water that has caused death and illness. Let us help you seek justice. Call us at 251-1111.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage, along with my business partners Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley. Have been in business for 32 years. We've seen some incredible mortgage markets. Many of our clients took advantage of these markets to refinance their properties. They lowered their payments, took cash out for college tuition, did renovations, shortened their terms, got rid of their mortgage insurance, even consolidated their debts into one easy small payment. Well, that opportunity is here again right now for you. These rates are extremely low. However, the market is starting to move in a different direction. Inflation, as you know, is already here. Look at the cost of gas, milk, lumber. Don't miss out because you put it off and didn't call. No one wants to hear years from now, I shoulda, I coulda, I woulda. Be a person that gets things done. Call Trustline Mortgage now at 381-LOAN. I'm serious. Call 381-LOAN now while it's fresh on your mind, or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 331480.
How far is it from the surface of the earth to the core of the earth?
Is your home your most valuable asset? It is for most of us, and Southern Oak Insurance recommends an annual review. Log on to southernoak.com for more information.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
From the surface to the core of the earth is about 1,800 miles and has a temperature of over 9,000 degrees, hotter than the sun.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
'Tis the season to be cool. Florida Home AC wants to make sure you're not cooked like a Christmas goose this summer. Make sure your AC unit is ready for the heat, and if it's time to look at replacement, look for quality and value. You'll get that from Florida Home AC. And right now, take advantage of $1,750 off a brand new heating and AC unit. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com for all the details and trust a company that will always keep you cool. Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars.
Is the urge to go a constant fear? Your prostate might be the culprit. Schedule your screening with Ackerman Urology today to fight back. Call 904-490-7400 or visit ackermanurology.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On July 21st, 1996, Wayne Gretzky signs a 2-year deal with the New York Rangers. He would spend the last 3 seasons of his NHL career in New York.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. This is Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now,
hello.
Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the accident attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars report to training camp on Sunday. They are on the practice field next Monday. And, of course, the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio against the Las Vegas Raiders, only about 2 weeks away, Thursday night, August the 4th. Let's talk Jaguar football with a man that covers the NFL as closely as anybody. I love following him on Twitter at MySportsUpdate. Ari Mirov, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Ari, I know you're a busy man this time of year. Thank you for the time.
No, absolutely, Ryan. Thanks for having me on. And really, football's right around the corner, especially for the Jaguars, who get us kicked off with the Hall of Fame game, like you mentioned. So football's in the air. Everyone's excited about that.
Ari, certainly want to talk to you about the Jaguars, but real quick, the Twitter handle. I've known you for years as the My Sports Update guy. Truthfully, I didn't really find out your name until recently. You're doing more with Pro Football Focus. You have your own Ari Mirov show now that I've seen on YouTube. But, boy, that Twitter handle really, really took off. And the inside scoops that you get are as good as anybody that covers the National Football League.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, the account started in 2013 really just as an avid NFL fan who loved keeping track of NFL news and everything. And over time, it took a few years, but, I just saw it kept on growing and growing and growing. I really never put my name on the account. It used to be called just NFL Updates. And then we're going to fast forward a little bit, but last year, PFF reached out to me and they were like, we're all about analytics and data and numbers. We want to add a news element to PFF, and we really like what you're doing. Is it a one-man show? Do you have a team? How do you do all this? I'm like, no, it's one person, And after talking for a while, we were able to strike a deal, and now I'm basically their main news guy. My name is now officially on the account. My face is on there. I have my own show, like you mentioned. And I would have never imagined it getting to this point when it started in 2013. So it's been a crazy ride.
That is a great story. And Ari, again, thank you for taking time out. Let's talk about the Jaguars, man. I saw yesterday you did your show. You put a snippet of your show on Twitter at My Sports Update. You are very high, Ari, on the Jaguars' hiring of Doug Peterson, so much so that you think it might be the best move of any move in the National Football League this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could make an argument for that. And really, I know some people thought, wait, how could you say that over Russell Wilson going to Jacksonville, going to Denver, or some of these other moves? But really, after seeing what happened last year with the Jaguars, the amount of just dysfunction and just the toxic environment with Urban Meyer, I mean, it could not have gone any worse than what it did. To hire somebody who has been there, done that, won a Super Bowl, is a quarterback whisperer, quote unquote, to come in and be with Trevor Lawrence, who everyone deemed to be a generational quarterback, to team up with him and then add all these new pieces in free agency. And I know a lot of people were complaining about how much money the Jaguars spent. The reality is they needed to add pieces to this team, and players are not just going to come to Jacksonville. You have to overpay right now just to get them in the building while you have a quarterback on his rookie contract. Eventually, the hope for the Jaguars is Trevor Lawrence becomes what we all think he could become. And just like Joe Burrow in Cincinnati right now, another former number 1 overall pick, players want to play with Joe Burrow. They're going to come to Cincinnati for less. You hope that could be Trevor Lawrence in a couple of years from now. But for now, you've added all these pieces. You have a great head coach, and things are only looking up for the Jaguars going into the season. I think a lot of people are sleeping on this team. Do we expect them to win the division? I mean, I think a lot of people don't expect that. But for the most part, just to have some, consistency, some normalcy in that building should go a long way for them.
The host of the Ari Meirov Show. You see him on Pro Football Focus, and of course the Twitter handle at My Sports Update. Ari, kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Ari, let's focus on Doug Peterson first. The parallels. He took over Philadelphia after Chip Kelly left. It did not end well for Chip Kelly. He gets a young quarterback in Carson Wentz. We know what happens. Similarly, the nightmare scenario with Urban here last year. He's out. Doug Peterson replaces him, inherits Trevor Lawrence. There are some common traits, I guess, Ari, between Peterson taking over in Philly and Peterson taking over here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a good point. I never really thought about it like that. And it really is a nice point there by you. But yeah, I mean, I think just overall, I did a podcast with Chris Collinsworth last week talking about this Jaguars team and in particular about Doug Peterson. Chris and Doug go back a long way. And he's like, it's really just a match made in heaven, getting somebody like Doug just to be around Trevor Lawrence and really just have an offensive mind who has worked with quarterbacks his whole career, who was a quarterback in the league himself, just to be with him. Because Urban Meyer would have told you last year, he really wasn't the guy in the offensive room working with everybody. Like, he was more of a overseeing everything. Now you have Doug Peterson in there who is literally working hand in hand with Trevor Lawrence. And again, it wasn't a great year for Trevor Lawrence last year, not what anybody expected, but there were glimpses of what really people talked about, like the way he processed the field, the way he avoided sacks. I believe here on PFF, we tracked this. He took a sack on just 14% of his pressure dropbacks last season, which is 6th among all starting quarterbacks last year. So there were some glimpses of positives. There were more negatives, obviously. But again, just having an NFL head coach, as I said, who's been there, done that, who has been with quarterbacks, who has played quarterback before, it should just go a long way for him.
Ari, a lot of the questions down here in Jacksonville, and you alluded to it earlier, did they surround Trevor with enough talent? We know Christian Kirk, Zay Jones. I really am high on the Evan Ingram signing. I think that could be a potential diamond in the rough. Brandon Scherf on the offensive line, and, of course, Travis Etienne coming back. That's 5 guys, Ari, that were not a part of that offense last year that Trevor gets to bring into that offense in 2022. So let me ask you, did they give him enough talent to be successful this year?
Yeah, I think the one that is by far the biggest one was not even a free agent. And you mentioned it, Travis Etienne coming back. I mean, the chemistry that those two guys have dating back to Clemson is just it's so big, and he could do a number of different things besides for being a running back. Use him out of the backfield as well. I like the fact that Doug Peterson was away from football last year, got to kind of see the whole league from a bird's eye view. Maybe he could use a Travis Etienne, not necessarily as a Deebo Samuel, but use him more than just a running back. But overall, the rest of the free agent signs, I mentioned it before, put the money aside for a second. They just needed to add pieces to this offense and let Trevor Lawrence have as much talent around him so he could succeed as he keeps on getting used to this entire NFL level. So the offensive line is probably the one thing that I'm most concerned about. I mean, Cam Robinson last year was, I would say he had an above average year, but he's your left tackle. Brandon Scherf comes in, but then Brandon Linder retires, for example. Like, you really need guys like Jawan Taylor, Ben Barch, and all these different guys to really step up on the offensive line. But overall, just the amount of talent around that team is definitely an upgrade over last year. And you mentioned Evan Ingram. I'm here from New York. We've heard that name for a number of years here with the Giants. There is always that untapped potential that every year going into the season, we felt like we would see it this year, and it just never came. So he comes in now on a one-year prove-it deal. He needs to have a big year for his own sake and eventually get back to the free agent market next year so he could get that real second contract that every player wants. So it's definitely a big year for him on a personal level as well. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, Ari, I don't know if it matters at all, but the Jaguars have 5 guys that caught 46 or more passes in the NFL last year. When you could take into account Shenault, Marvin Jones, and the 3 new guys, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, and Evan Ingram. You combine Dan Arnold there, not even to mention Travis Etienne if James Robinson comes back. Look, I'm not saying they're going to go to the playoffs, but here in Jacksonville, we look for any positive momentum. Trust me, I've done the postgame show for 8 years straight. We've talked about a lot of beatings in the last 8 years. To me, there's as much talent, if not more, on this offense than they had even in 2017 when they went to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good argument to make. And again, the thing that interests me the most is really just seeing which Trevor Lawrence do we get, because I don't even know if we should be counting that much of what happened last year. Because what if Trevor Lawrence really does have that second-year leap that we see with many quarterbacks around the NFL, and he just elevates everyone else around him in that offense? Like, these guys around him are already above average players. Now, if you have a really good quarterback playing around them, he elevates the entire offense. They could take it to a whole nother level. So that's really the more fascinating part about this offense. I'll just mention one more thing. Just being in that division, the AFC South. I mean, it's a division that is probably one of the more weaker ones in the league. Obviously, you have Houston, you have the Colts, you have a transitioning quarterback right now with Matt Ryan, who I think many would argue is better than Carson Wentz, but it's a new quarterback nonetheless. And then Tennessee, which, traded away an A.J. Brown this offseason. So the division as a whole, it's not like you're competing with an AFC North or an NFC West. You have to face these guys twice a year. I mean, like, there are possibilities there to win games in the division this year as well. So really, there's a lot of things to look forward to with this team. But overall, just future-wise, I think there's a lot of things to be satisfied with.
Final moments here with Ari Meirov, the Ari Meirov Show. You get him at My Sports Update on Twitter. You can also catch him at Pro Football Focus. Ari, the defensive side of the ball, so much was talked about the offense. Well, they go out and they get a Fatukasi from New York and a Lewican from Atlanta, who led the league in tackles last year. Darius Williams is bringing his Super Bowl ring from L.A. back home to Jacksonville. And then you draft a Travon Walker, a Devin Lloyd, a Chad Muma. What was your overall thought on what they did defensively this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think really when you look around that defense, there are a lot of just names there that are good, rock-solid players, and you really just want to see how they all mesh. I mean, you mentioned some of the guys there, but, Shaquille Griffin is still there. I think they signed Arden Key in free agency. He was another very under-the-radar free agent addition. Josh Allen, of course, has been on the defense for a few years now and continues to elevate over there. So there are a lot of really solid players around this defense. You really want to see how it all meshes. The one thing that I am keeping an eye on is really just how the safety in the back there, Andre Cisco, does this year. Because I don't think he got his first start last year until very late in the year, but he had some really strong showings in those final games of 2021, it does sound like he is in line at least to potentially start the year there for the Jaguars. So I want to see how that secondary also all comes together with guys like I mentioned, Shaquille Griffin, Darius Williams, Tyson Campbell, Rayshon Jenkins, and Andre Sisco, who's a player I think could definitely take another step forward there this season.
Ari, I mean, look, it's relative, right? Because they won 4 games in the last 2 years. It would be hard to get any worse. I mean, we all think they're better. We all expect them to be better. The question is how much better. It's very early. They're not even in training camp yet. But if you had to throw a number out there, are you thinking, 7-10, 6-11? What's your early thought on the Jaguars in 2022?
Listen, having back-to-back years of the number 1 overall pick, you have to just get better some way, somehow, right? I mean, there has to be somewhere where this team gets better. So I think a 7-10 year would be a positive for this team considering where they've been these last couple of years. And really, ultimately, you just want to see Trevor Lawrence playing like the quarterback, like a number 1 overall quarterback. Because if you know that he is the guy, this is going to be our quarterback for the next 10 years. He shows us why we took a number 1 overall, why everyone's been talking about it since his freshman year in college. And you go into 2023 knowing you have that position taken care of. I think that's all the Jaguars fans could be asking for. So 7-10, 6-11. If they find a way to get to 8-9, I think all of that will be great. And moving forward for this team where you have the quarterback, you have the foundational pieces in stone, and you can move forward with this team with the quarterback in place.
Ari, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville where they can find your show and where they can read you there at Pro Football Focus.
Yep, the Ari Meirov NFL show, wherever you listen to podcasts or even on YouTube if you want to watch it. And the Twitter handle is @MySportsUpdate. Get all your NFL news and information all in one spot. And check out PFF.com. So much great articles and content coming up on the website right now with training camp right around the corner, not just from me, but from all our colleagues here. They all do a tremendous job.
Ari Meirov, I'm definitely a fan. Love the Twitter handle. Love the fact you took time out to join us here in Jacksonville. Ari, thank you for the time, brother. Let's do it again soon.
Absolutely, Ryan. All the best.
What is this?
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
We have hope. Rebellions are built on hope.
With the power to save the planet. Or at least sports radio in Jacksonville.
They are requesting a call sign. It's
1010XL.
When you hear Honda, you think safety, quality, value. Now think fuel economy. Don't settle for anything but the best. We invite you to compare Honda to all other brands. Remember, only a Honda is a Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer. We're dealing.
Hi, everybody. Mike Dempsey here for Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play fantasy football. Draft your team with no in-season management, get the optimal score from your team each week of the season, and have a shot at over $10 million in total prize money in Underdog's Best Ball Mania 3 contest. Head to UnderdogFantasy.com or the App Store now, sign up with the promo code 1010XL, and Underdog is going to match your first deposit up to $100. Again, Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code 1010XL and draft your Best Ball Mania 3 team today.
Incubus. Live. July 26th, Daly's Place. One incredible night with Incubus. And very special guest, Sublime with Rome. Incubus. On sale now. Buy tickets online at Ticketmaster.com. Don't miss Incubus. Live.
Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, and today's spot is dedicated to quality. You've come to expect fresh, never frozen, quality, delicious sandwiches, salads, and subs from Dandy. When it comes to grab-and-go sandwiches, if it doesn't say Dandy on the front, chances are it was made somewhere else, tossed in a freezer, then shipped in alongside the chicken nuggets. Not exactly fresh and not exactly quality. So the next time you're out and about, stop in at a gate and pick up your favorite and taste real quality while making yours a dandy today.
Monahan Jewelers is Jacksonville's source for fine jewelry and certified diamonds for 45 years. Have confidence knowing that you're buying the highest quality diamond at the best price. Monahan's has the inventory of several jewelry stores in one location with unbelievable prices. Diamonds, gemstones, and gold jewelry for every budget. At Monahan Jewelers, expect a huge inventory, great prices, expert jewelry repair, and fantastic service. Visit us at MonahanJewelry.com or call 246-GOLD for Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Golfers, it's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with all the hottest brands in golf at the best prices, featuring tailor-made Stealth Carbon woods and irons, Callaway's Rogue ST collection of woods and irons, Titleist's T-Series irons and Vokey wedges, and Ping's G425 woods and irons. All this and more at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Swing by and receive a free custom fitting today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, or shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Next time you're tempted to speed, think about who's waiting for you at home. On average, 8 people are killed each day in crashes on Florida's roadways, so slow down. Pay attention behind the wheel and help drive roadway fatalities down to 0. Let's get everyone home, Florida. Don't let a fast drive be your last drive. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Did you know that all graduates of Local 234's apprenticeship program are licensed journeymen? That means all plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC techs will have hundreds of hours of experience and have passed the Jacksonville City Licensed Journeyman exam. They're the best trained and safest skilled tradespeople in the industry. Don't leave yourself exposed to inadequate workmanship or even danger. Always hire a licensed journeyman. Local 234. Make the right connection. Equal opportunity employer.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
In for Rick Ballou tonight, it is Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. We are at halftime, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up until 8 o'clock this evening. Coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, if you missed Mayor Winnie Curry on earlier today with XL Primetime, we're going to replay that for you in about 15 minutes in light of Kirby Smart's comments at SEC Media Days yesterday about potentially moving the Georgia-Florida game out of Jacksonville. The mayor here had some thoughts about that he shared with XL Primetime, and we will replay that for you coming up in just a bit. Also, the new play-by-play voice of the Florida State Seminoles, Jeff Colhane, will join me coming up at the bottom of the hour, right around 7:30, 7:35 or so, as we will talk to the new radio voice of Florida State Athletics. A lot of news in the National Football League today. The biggest piece is Kyler Murray. Good grief. The contract Kyler Murray got out in Arizona. Look, I think Kyler Murray is a very good quarterback. Is he the best quarterback in the league? No. Is he a top 5 quarterback in the league? No. Top 10? Maybe there's a conversation there. But he signs today a 5-year deal, could be worth up to $230 million. $160 million of it is guaranteed. Do you know who is absolutely licking their chops after seeing this contract today? That would be the agents representing Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, because they are the two that are next in line for a big deal next offseason. Again, Kyler Murray is a good player. He's not Joe Burrow and he's not Justin Herbert. And if Kyler Murray gets $160 million guaranteed, 5-year deal could be worth $230 million. What on earth is Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert going to get next offseason? Hey, but you know what? Arizona feels like they have their guy. Good on them. And we'll see. Now the pressure really mounts up for Kyler Murray to live up to that deal. What does a deal like this do to Lamar Jackson in Baltimore? Right? Lamar Jackson actually is the next guy that needs a contract. And when you see what Josh Allen's getting paid in Buffalo, what Deshaun Watson's getting paid in Cleveland. Certainly what Mahomes is getting in Kansas City. Dak Prescott in Dallas, and now Kyler Murray in Arizona. What does this do to the negotiations in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson? But again, that's how important quarterback play is. There is no doubt about that. But a quarterback is only as good as the pieces around him. You obviously need an offensive line. That might be the most important piece. But you need guys that make plays for you. Wide receiver, tight end, running back. ESPN.com today did a ranking, 1 to 32, every NFL team, skill position players. I will tell you where Jacksonville is on this list in one moment. But I took it upon myself today to do a little research. A little hacker stats and info here for you on Hacker After Dark. I think it's pretty safe to say that the top 8 playmakers for the Jaguars coming into 2022 are going to be Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Marvin Jones, Laviska Shenault, those 4 wide receivers, Evan Ingram and Dan Arnold at tight end, and James Robinson and Travis Etienne at running back. When James Robinson can come back at 100%. Those are your 8. I don't think we'd really argue about that. Some of you may throw Jamal Agnew in there. Is there an argument for a Laquan Treadwell or a Chris Manhertz? I don't think so. I think it's Marvin Jones, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, Laviska Shenault, Evan Ingram, Dan Arnold, Travis Etienne, James Robinson. Taking Travis Etienne out for a moment, because he did not play in 2021, this is what the Jaguars have at the skill position. Coming into this year, if you take last year's numbers, those 7 guys, other than Travis Etienne, caught 371 passes in the National Football League for 4,017 yards. I would think that's pretty good. 371 catches last year between Christian Kirk, Marvin Jones, Zay Jones, Laviska Shenault, Dan Arnold, James Robinson, Evan Ingram. For over 4,000 yards. Now, one of the glaring problems is there was only 13 touchdowns scored among those 7 guys. Christian Kirk scored the ball 5 times last year. Evan Ingram had 3 touchdowns. Zay Jones had 1. Marvin Jones had 4. Laviska Shenault caught the ball 63 times. Not 1 was for a touchdown. That surprised me. I'd forgotten that. 63 catches for 619 yards for Laviska Shenault, but not 1 touchdown. Dan Arnold, 34 grabs for 408. James Robinson, 31 grabs for 222. Robinson also ran the ball for 767 yards and 8 rushing touchdowns before he got hurt in Week 15. So, that's the production the Jaguars have. If you include rushing yardage, they're just shy of 5,000 NFL yards from last year. But on these ESPN.com rankings, they're not very high. 32 is Houston. That kind of goes without saying. Rex Burkhead, Marlon Mack, Damian Pierce are their running backs. Brevin Jordan is their best tight end. Other than Brandon Cooks, Houston doesn't have a whole lot. Chicago comes in at 31. New York, the Giants at 30. Green Bay at 29. That's what happens when you lose Devontae Adams, man. When your best receivers are Sammy Watkins and Allen Lazard, Aaron Rodgers is going to have his work cut out for him this year. Now, they got a good running game with Aaron Jones. They got some tight ends that have done some things. But there's a lot of unprovenness at wide receiver. Jacksonville at 28. A bottom 5 ranking for the Jaguars when it comes to skill positions surrounding Trevor Lawrence. But again, and I didn't take the time to do this, but I would legitimately be curious how many NFL teams have 371 catches from last year on their roster going into training camp, have 4,000 receiving yards on their roster going into training camp. I would bet not too many. That's a lot. How many quarterbacks last year completed 371 passes? Not very many. So the Jaguars have guys that have done things in the NFL, have produced in the NFL. They're just not the most glamorous names, not the most sexy names. And if you divide 4,017 yards by 7, that comes out to an average of 573, which is what the average is for their receiving yardage last year. So you don't have that 1,000-yard guy. You don't have that go-to guy yet. Somebody's going to have to emerge. Hopefully it's Christian Kirk. I think Evan Ingram's a diamond in the rough. I really do. I love the Evan Ingram signing. I just think you have a lot of opportunity. And we talked about this last night. 2017, the Jaguars in the AFC Championship game. They were 10 minutes away from the Super Bowl. If that referee doesn't blow his whistle when Myles Jack wasn't down, the Jaguars probably go to the Super Bowl. That offense that year, remember Allen Robinson got hurt on like the second play of the year. Wide receivers on that team were Dede Westbrook, Marquise Lee, Allen Hurns, Keelan Cole. Your tight ends were the likes of Ben Koyak, Mercedes Lewis, James O'Shaughnessy. Your running backs were Leonard Fournette and TJ Yeldon. Compare that offense to this one. I would take Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Marvin Jones, and Shenault over the wide receiving core in 2017. All due respect to Marquise Lee and Allen Hurns. I would take Evan Ingram and Dan Arnold over Mercedes Lewis, Ben Koyak, and James O'Shaughnessy. Leonard Fournette and TJ Yeldon, I'd probably take them over Travis Etienne and James Robinson. But if Robinson's healthy and Etienne is healthy, that would probably be closer than you want to think. And who you taking, Trevor Lawrence or Blake Bortles? Exactly. You're taking Trevor. So the offense coming into 2022 on paper, to me, is better than that offense that was 10 minutes away from the AFC Championship game. What does that mean? Comes down to the defense. And look, this defense, I'm not breaking any news here, is probably not going to be Saxonville. It's probably not going to be 2017. But can this defense be good enough, be average enough, to keep you in games to maybe your generational quarterback can win a few for you in the fourth quarter? That's why, to me, Jacksonville is too low. They don't have the 28th best skill set on the offense. Atlanta is ranked higher than them. That's wrong. I'm sorry. Kyle Pitts is great. Atlanta's skill position receivers are not better than Jacksonville's. Are New England's skill position receivers better than Jacksonville's? What does New England have? Jacoby Myers, Brandon Bolden, James White. I mean, you got Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith did nothing last year for New England. Yeah, I don't know. I think that rating is pretty low. And we'll see what happens. I'm very high on the Jaguar offense. I have some concerns about the Jaguar defense. There were some concerns in this city yesterday with what Kirby Smart had to say at SEC Media Days. The head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs spent some time talking about his desire to potentially move the Georgia-Florida game out of Jacksonville. He cited recruiting as the reason he wants it moved out of Jacksonville. Lenny Curry, the mayor of Jacksonville, Florida, was on earlier today with XL Primetime. He had some pretty passionate thoughts on the topic. We'll replay that for you next. Mayor Lenny Curry coming up on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Every summer, 1010XL puts its players through training camp.
Struggle. Surviving.
It ain't pretty.
Victory and defeat.
But we get sharp for the season and come together as a team.
Just a game, Doc, but
1010XL.
I love it.
Mia O'Brien here. Have you seen the duck around town? No, not just any duck. I'm talking about Duck Duck Rooter. In just 3 years, they've grown into one of the largest plumbing and septic companies in Florida. And their hardworking team is based right here in Jacksonville, FLA. From septic tank pump outs, septic inspections, drain field installations, sump pump repair, they do it all. And they are the only master septic contractor on the First Coast. So when you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769.
Attention all current lease owners. Before you turn in your vehicle, come get a free appraisal and equity evaluation at Key Buick GMC. Key can pay off your lease early. Do not wait. Now is the time to go to Key Buick GMC. They are currently buying all makes and models. The market conditions are increasing the value of your vehicle each and every day, so come see what your car is worth. Ask for Derek or Steve. That's Key Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Across the street from Tinseltown, Southside and Gate, or go to KeyBuickGMC.com.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
The Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is now offering online scheduling for new patient appointments for all of their positions. Simply schedule your appointment on your cell phone, tablet, or desktop. JOI is the first orthopedic practice in North Florida to offer this feature to patients. To schedule your appointment online, visit joi.net and click on the button at the top of the page. If you'll be using insurance, be sure and have your information handy. JOI, where the pros go.
Baseball is back. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, takes the field this season at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark as the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game, and kids run the bases after Sunday games. Call 358-2846 or jackshrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
Estate cleanouts, hoarding cleanouts, old appliances, and even tools. There are tons of reasons why you or someone you know may need expert help clearing space. J-Dog Junk Removal will responsibly help you free up space. That means when they leave your place, it looks better. Whether it's you or a loved one that needs one type of cleanout at your home, trust the veterans at J-Dog Junk Removal. Veteran owned and operated. Call 844-GET-JDOG or visit jdog.com.
Hey, Royal Pest Services here. Have mercy, the heat and afternoon thunderstorms are here. With that, we get the skeeters. But for the transplants, mosquitoes. At Royal, we offer a monthly, bi-weekly, or one-time mosquito suppression service. The treatment process offers up to a 95% knockdown on all mosquito activity. So let Royal help you enjoy that backyard oasis this summer. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate.
In 1921, U.S. Marine Corps surgeon Dr. Robert McKeever established the first urologic practice in Florida, the McKeever Clinic. I'm Dr. West. 100 years later, we continue to carry on his life's work in providing complete urologic care in Jacksonville. We have 13 board-certified urologists with many areas of expertise to provide the highest level of care for both men and women. Visit McKeeverClinic.com to learn more about how we can help. McKeever Clinic, innovators in urologic care since 1921.
Hey Jacksonville, we need your help. It may be summer, but school is just around the corner. Hundreds of local homeless, at-risk, and low-income students need school supplies. 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, is collecting school supplies through July 30th, so our most vulnerable kids can start the school year right. Be a good person and help us fill 350 backpacks this summer. Bring donations to your nearest 1-to-1 Financial branch. Learn more and find the closest branch at 1to1fcu.org. And don't forget, the school supply tax holiday is the last week of July. Thanks, Jacksonville.
Keeping your body healthy and active leads to a more vibrant life. A great place to do that is the First Coast YMCA. The Y is equipped with state-of-the-art cardio and strength equipment, plus group exercise studios where trainers host activities like yoga, Zumba, and cycling sessions. The full-court basketball gym and indoor 5-lane swimming pool are open year-round. The Kid Zone can keep an eye on your kids while you work on that dad bod. And it's all available with your family membership. Learn more at fcymca.org.
Mystic Cornhole Company is the first choice for high-quality custom boards made right here in Jacksonville. But if you have a cornhole emergency, drop by their shop on Phillips Highway and pick up your new set today. MysticCornholeCompany.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On July 21st, 1996, Wayne Gretzky signs a 2-year deal with the New York Rangers. He would spend the last 3 seasons of his NHL career in New York.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. And for Rick Ballou, Hacker After Dark on a Thursday. Yesterday, Kirby Smart made a lot of headlines here locally talking about his desire to potentially move the Georgia-Florida game out of Jacksonville. The mayor of Jacksonville, Lenny Curry, joined 1010XL earlier today on XL Primetime. Here's a replay of that conversation right now.
All right, so let's find out what the mayor has to say. Lenny Curry joins us on the Farrah phone line right now. Welcome in, Lenny. Thanks for taking a few minutes. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. We're going to hit this soundbite just so you can hear it. And this is when Matt, because, Matt is chasing the story, and so they're up there, and he's hearing rumblings, and so he asked the question about whether or not he'd like to see it change venues, and here's Kirby.
Well, I think, first off, that's a president and athletic director decision that we all sit down and have input on, and I certainly have my beliefs that recruiting is the lifeblood of your program, and every opportunity you lose a chance to recruit. I mean, it would be like me saying, okay, in June there's 4 weekends you can have prospects on campus. Georgia, you can only have 3. That's what it's like. Right. And I'm self-sanctioning myself an opportunity to have the best prospects in the country fly into Atlanta and drive over every other year to see Florida play Georgia. And I don't know that people understand the value of that. They don't respect it, especially probably people in Jacksonville that I understand it. I get it. It's a traditional game. I played there. I grew up in South Georgia. I got a lot of friends that got houses all around that area that want that game to stay. But at the end of the day, I have to make decisions based on what's best for the University of Georgia. And I love the tradition of it. But it's going to be interesting to see if that can withhold with a new scheduling model and with no divisions, how that holds up.
All right, so there's no question that he has put this out there for discussion. So, Mayor, you hear that. What's your initial thought?
Yeah, well, first, I'm not surprised. Look, coaches have a job to do, right? That is to win football games. And at that level, it's all about recruiting, right? So I get it. I understand where the coach wants to head. But look, we've dealt with any number of issues over the years of keeping that football game in Jacksonville that's been here since the 1930s. When I was elected in 2015, I told you guys this story before. Before I was even sworn in, there was no extension on the contract. It was about to expire. Called both ADs immediately the day after the election and started building a relationship with them. And we renegotiated new terms then, and we've since renegotiated another series of them since then. This game will now be played in Jacksonville contractually through 2023. And so I would say we're going to have elections in the spring. Those candidates that run for mayor ought to be thinking right now about the relationships with both universities, the athletic directors, and what that game means, not only for Jacksonville, but for those schools. The reality is we've made it very financially attractive for both universities over the years and appreciate the relationship. And as long as I have the ability to fight to keep that ball game here, I'm going to do that.
Now, Mayor, you know what? One thing I think that Kirby's overlooking is that having the game in Jacksonville is a power play because all the recruits here in Jacksonville, they're either going to Florida State, Georgia, or Florida. You come out of that game with a victory, you've got the upper hand on the other two schools as far as the mass amount of recruits that are going to be going to Georgia.
That's right. And I think to your point, Leon, particularly out of Jacksonville, we've seen the talent level of high school football in Jacksonville recently. You know, the top star-rated athletes. It's risen significantly. But look, I think it's a life lesson in anything. Take nothing for granted, right? Take absolutely nothing for granted. And anything that's valuable and worth having, you got to fight for. And Kirby Smart values recruiting, which he should, so he's going to fight for what he believes is the best interest in recruiting football players for his football team. We think there's a balance there and that both schools can have great recruiting opportunities holding here in Jacksonville, and we're going to fight to keep that football game here. With working the relationship with the athletic directors and with every single donor and booster at both universities, we're going to make sure, which we've done, and the next mayor should make sure of this, that they are all plugged in and engaged in making sure their voices are heard too. There's a whole hell of a lot of stakeholders in this right now.
Yahtzee, I say, we're talking with Mayor Lenny Curry because it is the absolute truth. And I said it yesterday, Mayor, there are certain identifiable things that come with the city. An NFL franchise is as precious as it comes. And then this tradition since 1933 is also one of the signature pieces that this city has. I don't know that we could name too many other things. You certainly could throw the players in there, but there aren't too many other shiny gems that you could show off when it comes to showcasing Jacksonville.
It's a fabric part of this community. It's important on so many levels. And by the way, not to mention, I mean, let's talk about the elephant in the room. We have an NFL team here. There's going to have to be a major redo on that stadium, right? And in thinking through that redo, this football game impacts that. They're connected. They're related. A lot of stakeholders in this decision.
Matt Hayes is up here. He's the one who started this whole thing, so he's up in Atlanta, so he's going to chime in right now too, Lenny.
Lenny, how you doing?
Good. Thank you, Matt.
Hey, listen, I get the whole idea of the history and the tradition. You guys have been great to Florida and Georgia. There's no doubt about it, and will continue to be. That's not even a question. But at the end of the day, this is going to come down to money, right? This is going to come down to you guys literally giving them so much money that they can't say no.
Money is a huge factor in this. You're 100% right. I mean, look, there's you could weight all the factors that go into it. Money is probably one of the highest weighted factors in it all. But also, don't underestimate the voice of boosters, donors. I mean, every stakeholder that cares about this ball game making their voice heard, that's going to matter. Universities are going to, if they hear from everybody that cares about this, it'll make a difference. But you're right. In the end, negotiations and money, that talks.
What about the vulnerability from a stadium improvement standpoint? You mentioned the improvements that they definitely need to be looked at, but I'm talking about timeline, Mayor, if it does take a longer period of time and then all of a sudden the game's vulnerable to go somewhere else.
I think if I heard the question, understand the question right, I don't think whether this game is here or not affects the timeline on what has to be done to that stadium. What I meant to say is anybody that cares about our team and our stadium, our professional team, the Jaguars, they're stakeholders in this decision about this Florida-Georgia, Georgia-Florida game, and they ought to make their voices heard, whether they're corporate executives or they're fans. Mm-hmm. It's important that game be here. It matters. It affects a whole lot more than just the game.
Lenny, is it an opportunity where you were talking about the stadium, and it's definitely the elephant in the room. It's got to be redone. Is there any way that could be part of the conversation as well as, listen, it's going to have to be redone. Maybe that can be one either two-game series or just one time when the game's in Athens to give them the opportunity to have it there, but then it comes back when everything's done.
I mean, look, I think you make a good point. I don't want to, like I'm in a poker game right now, I don't want to I don't want to show my hand on this interview as much as I'd like to break news. But I think you make a great point there. I think that all options ought to be up for discussion, and you may have just made – I'll say I didn't make the point you did, but it sounds interesting.
and Matt, you said it better than I was when I was trying to ask the same type of question, and I think it's a little bit of a danger zone because if it does make that shift for a short period of time and then all of a sudden they embrace it, and I guess it would come back to a dollars and cents thing, an actual math problem every single year, Mayor. Can we make more, and is the visibility that we need by taking it to Jacksonville still the most important thing?
It's really important that those that come after me do everything they can to keep that football game here.
Yeah.
And to the extent that I can help them, I will do the same thing. Look, we have been financially responsible over the reason we're able to invest in a lot of things, which includes the recent deal we did with those universities, is because we are financially sound in Jacksonville. We've got good credit ratings. We've got money in reserves, we can invest in things like this, and we're well positioned to make the case.
Well, there you go. That was Lenny Curry on XL Primetime earlier today. Appreciate the mayor for coming on. Certainly a big conversation when Kirby Smart kind of stirred the pot yesterday at SEC Media Days. As the mayor said, the game is contractually going to be here this year and next year, and then we'll see. And plus, when you talk about the stadium renovations that are coming, there are certainly a lot of things that need to be looked at when you look to the future of what's going to happen, not only with that game here in Jacksonville, but with that stadium in downtown Jacksonville, Florida. So thank you to Mayor Lenny Curry. Back into the world of college football on the Atlantic Coast Conference side. ACC kickoff just wrapped up in Charlotte. I haven't had the opportunity to catch up with the new play-by-play voice of Florida State. His name is Jeff Culhane. He was most recently at North Dakota State. He is coming in to take over for Gene Deckerhoff, who retired as Seminole broadcaster earlier this year. Let's talk to the new voice of the Seminoles, Jeff Culhane. Seminole fans, I think this will be a good opportunity to kind of meet your new radio voice. He's next. Hacker After Dark, in for Baloo on a Thursday night here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
Who's the dumbass?
Whoa! Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
What's that, dumbass? Say it again. You want me to? I dare you.
The Drill.
Dumbass.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Listen up. We want your car and we're ready to pay more than anyone else. Curious to know how much? You can get an immediate appraisal and same-day cash at any of our stores. Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet will pay what you deserve. If it has 4 wheels and runs, let us take a look. Come see us now. Why are you still sitting there? We're not messing around. Get the most out of your car right now. Come visit us and see what we can do for you today. Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet. We want to wow you and buy your car.
It's summertime and the beach is calling your name. Chris here with Sliders Oyster Bar at Neptune Beach. I want to invite you all to our newly renovated family-owned restaurant that I guarantee you will only be served the freshest seafood in Jacksonville. My family and I wanted to see that our beaches community only gets the best, so we built you the best. Tons more seating, upgraded kitchen, fully stocked bar, and of course, fresh oysters. Come see us at Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach, locally owned and operated by Safe Harbor Seafood.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When it comes to roofing solutions, most homeowners don't know they actually have a big variety of options. At Honest Abe Roofing, they offer a polymer-modified asphalt shingle that is guaranteed for life. This unique product can withstand 130-mile-an-hour winds, baseball-sized hail, plus it's algae-proof and fireproof. For the best roofing products guaranteed for life, choose Honest Abe Roofing, the reliable roofer. Call 341-ROOF or visit honestaberoofing.com.
If you've been injured on the job and are not receiving the benefits you're entitled to, call me, Glenn Levine, at the law offices of Anajar & Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000, and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Jeff Prosser here. Do you have a damaged roof on your home? I did too, so I had Ken Lawler and his team help me get my roof replaced through my property insurance. Ken, tell us how it works.
Jeff, our team walks you through the process and eliminates the confusion that comes with filing an insurance claim and getting it properly settled. It's all free if we don't recover money for your claim. If you have a damaged roof, call Fifth Element Adjusting or visit FEAclaims.com. If you're happy with the outcome of your claim, Fifth Element Adjusting will not be able to help you. Ken Lawler, DFS number P213199.
Upgrade your grilling game to amazing meals with a new high-quality grill from Caladad Grills. Why Caladad? It means quality. Expert grills that stand apart from the crowd, like Traeger, Kamado Joe, and Napoleon. In stock today and built to last. Why Caladad? It's a local family business, so they'll save you money and time with free delivery. Stop by Caladad Grills at the end of Cumberland Park Drive, just off County Road 210. Caladad, they make it easy for you to grill like a pro.
Monahan Jewelers is Jacksonville's source for fine jewelry and certified diamonds for 45 years. Have confidence knowing that you're buying the highest quality diamond at the best price. Monahan's has the inventory of several jewelry stores in one location with unbelievable prices. Diamonds, gemstones, and gold jewelry for every budget. At Monahan Jewelers, expect a huge inventory, great prices, expert jewelry repair, and fantastic service. Visit us at MonahanJewelry.com or call 246-GOLD for Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Did you know that the air in your home can be much worse than the air outdoors? Hicken here for Zero Res. In fact, the EPA lists indoor air quality one of the top 5 health threats in America. Zero Res can help. Cleaning air ducts is all about power. The more power you have, the more air you can move, and that's how you clean air ducts. Zero Res truck mount systems move more than 15,000 CFMs to pull all that dirt and debris out of your home. Right now, Zero Res offering $50 off the cleaning of your air duct system. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Superior Fence and Rail knows about exceptional customer service. From the first call to the final inspection, Superior's team provides first-class care with great communication, friendly installers, and quality fence products. There's a reason why Superior is the top-rated fence company in Jacksonville. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your new fence today.
When you're on the fence about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Youth sports are getting back into full swing, so you know what that means. Custom Yetis so dads can keep their beer or sodas cold. Check them out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
This is Denny Thompson. Join me for the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Wednesday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL Florida Gators podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or TuneIn.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now, hello. Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Media Days in both the Southeastern Conference and the Atlantic Coast Conference going on this week as college football is in the horizon. We are on the doorstep, and Florida State, of course, plays in Week 0, Saturday, August the 27th, against Duquesne. That will be Mike Norvell's third year in Tallahassee. It'll be the first year for the brand-new play-by-play voice of Florida State Athletics. His name is Jeff Culhane, and he joins us here on 1010XL. Jeff, thank you for the time, man. How are you?
Hey, Ryan, thanks so much for having me. It's great to talk to you and great to talk to the great people in Jacksonville. And, hey, you mentioned Media Days. I was watching the other day as Brian Kelly led off the SEC Media Days, obviously in his first year at LSU. And I tell you what, Ryan, I love college football, man. They were having some fun with him in the truck when they popped his name up on the screen. One of his lower thirds said avid TikTok dancer. The other said expert on Southern accents. And I can't wait. I love college football. I love college athletics. And, man, I'm fired up to get to Tallahassee. And can't wait for Week 0, August 27th, when Duquesne comes to Doak.
Now, you've seen a lot of good football in your career. You were the voice of North Dakota State. I believe you were a sports radio host up there as well. From North Dakota to the Sunshine State, how has the transition been so far?
Well, you can obviously roll with the joke that jumps out right away. My wife and I will trade every blizzard in this part of the country for every percentage of humidity in the Sunshine State. So we'll take it, we'll fight it, we'll do whatever we got to do to get used to it. But it's been great. You know, my family is going to get down there here in a few weeks, and, you know, fall camp is right around the corner, which is just crazy to think in the middle of July here towards the third week in July. But college football is upon us, and I'm excited. I really believe that Mike Norvell and his staff have addressed the questions and the needs of this football team coming out of last season, where they were a game away from getting to a bowl game. that certainly is the goal, the expectation here in year 3. And, you know, Ryan, having a chance to talk with Coach Norvell a few times, this is a sharp man who knows what his team needs. He's gone out and done what he's needed to do, I feel like. And I'm a big fan of how this team looks right now and how they're going to look in 2022 as well.
Jeff Colhane, the new play-by-play voice of Florida State, here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Of course, Florida State just got a big verbal commitment from our area, and Roderick Kearney, the 4-star offensive lineman from Orange Park High School. Jeff, you mentioned Mike Norvell. I really like Coach Norvell. Every time we ask him to come on, he's very gracious with his time. He treats us very well here in Jacksonville. But as you can imagine, with a program like Florida State, there are expectations, and year 3 appears to be a big one for Norvell and what he's building there in Tallahassee.
Well, I think every year is big, right? I mean, you know, no matter what you've done the year before, if you've won a national championship or if you've had a 10-win season or, you know, an 8 or a 9-win season, if you take a step back, people aren't going to accept that. And that's one of the big reasons, Ryan, why I wanted to be a part of a place like Florida State. I've been able to be at places like Florida State where there's a little bit of a blue blood mentality. And Nebraska in years past, West Virginia was the only show in the state, in Morgantown, and certainly on a smaller level at the FCS as far as numbers go, but certainly not when it comes to passion at North Dakota State University the last 6 years. So that's what it's all about. Florida State football is one of the great blue blood programs in the country. Obviously looking to get back to where it was and where it needs to go. And, you know, I think Coach Norvell's time in Tallahassee, if you diagnose it, Ryan, it's interesting. You come in during the COVID year, and I don't care who you are or what program you're coming into, that's tough. That makes trying to instill a culture during that time very, very difficult. And so dealing with all of that in year 1, and then roster management in the transfer portal and name, image, and likeness into year number 2. There's some huge challenges there. And I think Coach has navigated those as well as anyone could. And you know, like I talked about, I really like the pieces that are in place here. Now you got to go out and win. Now you have to go out and do it. And certainly you can't look past anybody week 0 with Duquesne on August 27th. And then the big one that all the fans, I think, are looking to is LSU early in the season, Sunday night down in New Orleans. So big games early, and obviously the ACC always has massive challenges throughout. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this team navigate some of this during the season.
Jeff Colhane, the play-by-play voice of the Florida State Seminoles. Jeff, we'll get back to football in a moment. Let's talk about you. Let's let Seminole fans get to know you a little bit. You talked about your previous stops. Florida State, the job came open. Boy, the great Gene Deckerhoff, and I do mean great, a legend in these parts, retires from Florida State after many decades there in the broadcast booth. Have you had a chance to talk to Gene since you took the job? And if so, what's that interaction been like?
Yeah, Ryan, let me echo your sentiments on Gene Deckerhoff and take him times, you know, infinity, if you will. I mean, I have had a chance to get to connect with Gene. You know, he and I talked over the phone a few weeks ago, and our first phone call was nearly an hour long. And it was just a joy to listen to him and ask questions and hear what he had to say. He and his wife, Ann, who I know both of Gene and Ann grew up in the Jacksonville area in their younger years when they met. He and his wife, Ann, sent our sons, I have a 3-year-old and a 3-week-old. They sent them some Florida State gear to wear around the house and to have as they got their feet wet and made their transition down to Tallahassee. And so that was very, very kind. And I was actually in Tallahassee last week for 4 or 5 days. And Gene stopped by the office in the Moore Center by the stadium at Doak Campbell. And then we ended up going out to lunch together. And it was tremendous. He has been just an absolute amazing person. You talk about what he has done in the booth, and he is as good, if not better of a person overall, if you can even believe that. So 48 years with Florida State men's basketball, 43 years with Florida State football, and just an absolutely charming man and amazing person. And so it's been great to be able to pick his brain. We're going to incorporate him in some different ways, Ryan, in our broadcast coming up this fall to the level that he wants to be included with his work still in Tampa Bay. And so you're going to still hear Gene Deckerhoff's voice on this football broadcast. That's a big deal to me and something that needs to be a part of our football broadcast moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's great. Jeff Colhane, the play-by-play voice of the Florida State Seminoles. Jeff, you mentioned your previous stops, Nebraska, West Virginia, most recently North Dakota State. When Florida State came open, talk about that process. Obviously one of the best play-by-play jobs in America with the tradition there in Tallahassee. How excited were you for the opportunity, and how excited are you now that the opportunity is yours?
I mentioned infinity before, right? What's the line on? I don't know if you're. I'm not a big Marvel Comics person, but I do watch some of the movies. Avengers Endgame, love you times 3,000. I mean, that's kind of what it was like. I'm like, I want that job times 3,000, right? And I've told the story. I think you've heard it, Ryan. I'm sure the fans have heard it. I'll tell it quickly again. I hosted a talk show in Nebraska on our statewide network, 25 stations, and I had Gene on the show back in 2011, I believe, or 2012, in the summer of that year. And Gene told a story about he and Bobby Bowden and spending time together. And I've always known I've wanted to be in a situation like this where I'm a part of a university as great as Florida State. I'm a part of programs as great as Seminole Athletics, and a part of a fan base as great as Seminole fans are, because it's in their DNA. When they're born, when they grow up, it's about who they are every day, and that's a big part of the landscape of a job like this in college athletics. And so that was a dream of mine getting into this business. But then hearing the story Gene told about he and Bobby Bowden spending time together, it kind of clicked with me, Ryan, that this is also a business about relationships. It's a business about helping others and being able to connect. And you never know how, if you meet someone and talk with them 20 years ago and have a great conversation, how that can help you, or even and help you help them down the line as well. And so he told that story, and that's when it clicked with me that, obviously on the surface, all the things that we talk about with Florida State are all true, but it made me realize that there's more to it, and that there are great people around the Seminole family. And so from that point on, Florida State, with this job, for whatever reason, connected with me. And when Gene announced his retirement back in March, I started to take the steps that I felt I needed to do to put myself in a situation that had me in a best case scenario to get a phone call or get an interview. And so I've got a lot of people to thank. You talk about relationships. A lot of people helped me along the way, Ryan. And I can't thank Michael Alford enough, Caleb Swan, the general manager at Seminole Sports Properties, Peter Collins, the president of the Florida State Board of Trustees, Stephen Ponder, the head of Seminole Boosters, all great people and all individuals I had a lot of contact with throughout the entire process.
Final moments here with Jeff Colhane, the play-by-play voice of the Florida State Seminoles. Jeff, what's absolutely crazy to me and pretty much everybody that's a Seminole/Gator fan, really in the state, but primarily Tallahassee, Jacksonville, and Gainesville, in 1989, Mick Hubert took the Florida job. And from 89 to 2021, we're talking 32 years. Gene Deckerhoff was in the booth in Tallahassee. Mick Hubert was in the booth in Gainesville. They retire within 90 days of each other. Gene leaves in Tallahassee, you're in. Mick leaves in Gainesville, and now Sean Kelly is in. And I'm just curious, if you know Sean, have you reached out to Sean? Because Mick and Gene were kind of forever linked. The Gator guy, the Seminole guy, and now you and Sean are starting on the same time frame, which is just very, very ironic and kind of cool, to be honest.
I'm glad you brought it up, Ryan. We have talked, and I knew of Sean, obviously, with his work nationally and with his work with the Pelicans, just a tremendous broadcaster. And I called him the day that he was announced as the new play-by-play voice of the Gators, and we talked for about 20 minutes. And he posed that same question to me. He said, "Jeff, can you believe that we are in a situation where two legends like Gene and Mick retire in the same season within 30 to 90 days of each other?" I said, it is crazy. I've thought about it, and it's something Gene and I talked about as well. His time, obviously, at Florida State, but also he and Mick and their time, the games they called, not only in football but in basketball as well. Some great basketball matchups throughout those decades with those two behind the mic. And so I have talked to Sean. I'm very happy for him, excited for him. We joked that we're both going through the same process of moving, and everyone knows that moving is one of the more fun things to do in your life. Yeah. And so, we joked about that and talked about, connecting and getting together, and, he'll be in Tallahassee a couple of times in November with hoops and football. So very excited for he and his family. He is a tremendous person as well. And I hope that we're able to have that same kind of connection, same kind of longevity that Gene and Mick had during their time in Tallahassee and Gainesville.
It is an exciting time for both Seminole fans and Gator fans. The season is on the horizon, and brand new play-by-play voices in both locations. Jeff Culhane, the new voice of Florida State. By the way, as we let you go, how does that sound? Jeff Culhane, the play-by-play voice of the Florida State Seminoles. Yeah. I'm sure that has a nice ring to it for you.
Right, it sounds great. It still has not even sunk in yet. I need to get more ingrained in the Seminole family and the community, and I can't wait to get to Doak and get down to New Orleans and connect with as many people as possible. It's been fun. The fans have been great to me, Ryan, on social media. I know that there's always a lot of eyeballs on this decision and who the next person is, and so I look forward to talking with as many people as possible down the line and watching and witnessing so many great Seminole moments, which we will have here very, very shortly.
Jeff, it's our first conversation. It won't be the last. You're always welcome here in Jacksonville, man. We really appreciate the time. Let's connect again a couple of weeks into the year. We'll see how Florida State's doing at that point.
I love it. Love to be on with you, Ryan. Thanks so much for asking. Can't wait to come back and can't wait to get to Jacksonville and to see that great city and so many great folks there. Appreciate the time.
Well, there you go, Jeff Culhane, the brand new play-by-play voice of the Florida State Seminoles. Appreciate Jeff taking time out for joining us here on Hacker After Dark. And yeah, it's a changing of the guard. No question about that. Back in 1989, when Mick Hubert took over for David Steele, and for the last 32 football seasons, you had Mick Hubert in Gainesville, you had Gene Deckerhoff in Tallahassee. Now that's obviously not the case. Both guys into their retirement. Gene will still do one more year of Tampa Bay Buccaneer football, but in the college football booth in Tallahassee, you'll have Jeff Culhane. In the Gainesville booth there with the Gators, you will have Sean Kelly, and we appreciate Jeff for taking time out to talk a little Florida State football with us tonight here on 1010XL. That'll just about wrap it up for a Thursday night edition and for Blue tonight. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We have a lot of people to thank. I do want to thank Rick Ballou. He joined us earlier. He's on his way back from Charlotte, North Carolina. He'll be with us tomorrow night from 6 to 8. I will follow him from 8 o'clock until 10 o'clock. Thank you to Ari Merov from My Sports Update on Twitter, Pro Football Focus, becoming one of the better league insiders in the National Football League. And Ari, very, very high on the Doug Peterson hiring here in Jacksonville. I almost did a double take when I asked him about his podcast that he does when he said Doug Peterson was the best move of the offseason. And I said, yeah, Ari, are you talking about coaching move? He said, no, the best move of the offseason. Not sure if I would go that far with Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill and Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan all changing teams, but love the perspective, and thank you to Ari Merov, My Sports Update, and Pro Football Focus for joining us here on Hacker After Dark. And again, Jeff Culhane joined us, the play-by-play voice of the Florida State Seminoles. We'll be back at 8 o'clock tomorrow on a Friday to wrap up what has been a very, very busy week here with both SEC Media Days and the ACC kickoff on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job. As always, my friend, I'm the hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Thursday evening with us here on Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate it. So until tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Thursday evening, Jacksonville. We'll talk again soon.
It's a Gator town. It's a Jag town. It's our hometown. 1010XL, home of the Gators and Jaguars.
This month, the Key Buick GMC receives 0% up to 36 months on Buick Encore GX, Buick Envision, and Buick Enclave. As always, whenever you purchase a brand new vehicle from Key, whether it's a Buick or GMC, it always comes with that lifetime powertrain warranty and no dealer markups. At Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Located across the street from Tinseltown, Southside and Gate. Check them out online as well, Key Buick GMC.
People often think if they don't have symptoms, they shouldn't get tested for colon cancer. If you're 45 or older, it's time to get checked. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. Protect your end zone. If you're over 45, ask your doctor about a colonoscopy. 45 is the new 50. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to helping the community and save lives. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Don't ignore plumbing leaks. They can lead to mold and mildew or structural damage and drain your wallet. So when you have a leak and can't wait a week, call Roland Reich Plumbing. PlumbingJacksonville.com.
Electricians looking for better pay and benefits? Miller Electric Company. They're hiring right now. Now, they have incredible compensation packages, plus verified journeyman wiremen are currently eligible for a $1,000 signing bonus. If you are an electrician with 5+ years of experience, join us for the hiring event on Tuesday, July 26th from 4 to 7 p.m. at the office of Miller Electric Company. Go to MillerCareers.com. Again, Tuesday, July 26th from 4 to 7 p.m. or visit MillerCareers.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
I'm Jeff McCall for Trustline Mortgage, along with my business partners Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley. Have been in business for 32 years. We've seen some incredible mortgage markets. Many of our clients took advantage of these markets to refinance their properties. They lowered their payments, took cash out for college tuition, did renovations, shortened their terms, got rid of their mortgage insurance, even consolidated their debts into one easy small payment. Well, that opportunity